Kia ora.
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Chris Tremaine.
Tihai Mauri o rā. Whai te pai ta whiti kia tāta. Whai te pai tāta. Whakamaua kia u kia tina. A tēnā koutou. Kia ora, Mr. Speaker. Members of Maungaharuru, Tangitu, welcome. No mai, haere mai, ki te whare. It is a huge privilege to be able to speak in this third reading of your settlement bill and to welcome you to Parliament to be part of this historic occasion. Today, those of us in the House and in the gallery, you are part of history. This bill, sponsored by the Minister for Treaty of Waitangi Negotiations, the Honourable Christopher Finlayson, is another step along the pathway of meeting a huge commitment that we made as a government back in 2008 to settle as many outstanding grievances and issues with Hapu, with iwi, with whānau throughout Aotearoa. And it's great to be here today and to be part of the historic occasion of making one of those settlements in my own electorate of Ahuriri of Napier. Today I have to acknowledge the Minister, because he has done an outstanding job in where he's got to. Because perspective, over the course of history, over the last 20-odd years, there have been 69 treaty settlements, and the Crown is now over halfway towards completing that journey, a very important journey. But the Minister before us today, of those 69 settlements, he has been responsible for 43 deeds of settlement since November of 2008, which I think is an outstanding achievement, and I believe that he will be remembered in this Parliament and in New Zealand for the accomplishments that he has made and the work that he has done to progress some very difficult issues. And I have no doubt that within your own Hapu that there have been issues to overcome. I remember talking with Bevan and just getting to the point of settlement and the issues that you've had to overcome. It is a huge undertaking. So I do acknowledge not only yourselves but the Minister in this process. The great thing about the settlements is that it does recognise recognise and right the wrongs of the past, and I would like to think, I guess only history will judge us properly, but I would like to think that it strengthens the partnership between the Crown and with Māori. There's no doubt that it does unlock economic potential and boost regional and provincial areas such as Hiritonga, such as Ahuriri, Hawke's Bay, the place that I call home, just like all of you in the gallery today. The purpose of this bill is to give effect to the deed of settlement signed by the Crown with Maungaharuru, Tangitu, Hapu. I've got to say, Mr. Speaker, that this settlement is particularly relevant to me, given that my home lies within the rohi of Maungaharuru, Tangitu, at its southern boundary. And as Nanaia Mahuta spoke in her speech, it is, in my opinion, not only one of the best, but the most beautiful part of Aotearoa. There is no doubt in my mind. To the south is the Ahuriri, the old Ahuriri Lagoon and Lagoon Farm. That's sort of at the bottom, the southern boundary of the area, which is the rohi of Maungaharuru, Tangitu, and that beautiful area and the richness of Bay View. I'm fortunate to live in the Esk Valley, which is again at the southern boundary of this beautiful area. But if you think to the east is the Tangitu coastline and the richness of that area of the Rohi from Waipatiki Beach, Tangoio, Aotearoa, and further up the coastline. It was renowned historically for the kaimoana, and still is in that part. And I've had the good fortune of being able to be part of that over my 47 odd years, to be able to go in and with my whānau, with my family, to go out and when we're holidaying out at Waipatiki Beach, to be able to dive for paua and kina and kura. It is an amazing place. To the north is the Mohaka River, which we were fortunate last year to settle with Ngāti Pahuira, and we've seen the result of the settlement there, which is to empower Pahuira to go forward as a nation, as an iwi and a hapu. And to the west, we know that the area is bounded by Maungaharuru, which is the mountain range, Maunga, for meaning mountain haruru, meaning the area of many beating wings. And my hope is that over time that that we can return some of those birds to Maungaharuru. That I know Julian Robertson is working closely with the Hapu in a project to do that. I'm particularly fortunate not only to have my home in the Rohi, but also to own some land there. And I have my brother and I own some land on which there was an old power site on the ridgeline from many years ago. And in January of this year, members of the iwi met with me, and we wandered across the land looking for old pits and other evidence. We spoke of the opportunity of a coastal pathway from Napier to Waipatiki, a pathway which I think could bring significant tourism potential over coming years. We spoke at length about the beauty of the land and the rich resources there. So, like I say, this settlement has particular relevance to me and my own family. But more importantly, today's third reading ends a process that began many years ago. Can I acknowledge, as I said at the start of my mihi, those in the gallery who've contributed to the journey. There are too many to mention, but in particular, can I acknowledge Bevan Taylor and Tania Hopkins, who have led the negotiations. I mihi to you and acknowledge the huge undertaking that you have done and what you have achieved here today. More generally, can I acknowledge all the whānau that are here today and who are part of this process. I chose in my opening whakatauiki, whai te pai tā whiti ki a tāta, whai te pai tāta, whakamaua ki a u, ki a tina. Not just because it's another whakatauiki that I could have used in the speech, but more as a wero, a challenge. Today is the end, or is not the end of a process, it's the start of a journey. And my challenge to you is to reach for the stars, is to use this opportunity to be everything it can be for your respective hapu, to rise to the challenge and to become leaders in our community, leaders for your mokopuna, your tamariki. Use this opportunity to be the very best that you can be. Mr. Speaker, it has been a huge privilege to be part of this process, and I'm particularly honoured to be here on the third reading with members of the Hapu in the House. Can I thank you for that privilege? It is indeed one of the highlights of my time as a Member of Parliament, and I will remember it for the rest of my days. Thank you very much.
Speaker.
I call the whistle wall.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker. I ngā mana, i ngā reo, raurangatira mā, ngā whānau o Maungaharuru